You're listening to Short History Shorts audio, where history speaks louder than images. Long before Plato wrote philosophy, before Hippocrates taught medicine, and before Da Vinci sketched machines, there was Imhotep, Egypt's first genius. A man born not of royal blood but of supreme intellect, Imhotep rose from humble origins to become a towering figure in ancient Egypt's third dynasty, earning titles as vizier, high priest, chief architect, physician, astronomer, and eventually, God. His legacy shaped not only the world of the pharaohs but also the course of human civilization. In this episode, we uncover the extraordinary life and achievements of Imhotep, the polymath who designed the first pyramid, who laid the intellectual foundation for millennia of Egyptian science and religion, and who became the only commoner ever deified in the Egyptian pantheon. Imhotep lived around 2700 BC during the reign of Pharaoh Djoser, a transformative period in early dynastic Egypt. His origins are elusive. He was not of noble lineage and no grand tomb records his early life. But the echoes of his mind ripple through every stone of the step pyramid at Saqqara. As Djoser's vizier, Imhotep served as the highest advisor in the kingdom, but his influence extended far beyond politics. He was the architect behind the world's first monumental stone building, the six-tiered step pyramid that redefined funerary architecture, royal ideology, and sacred space. But to focus only on his architecture would be to underestimate the scope of his genius. Imhotep was also a physician, perhaps the first known by name in all of recorded history. Later Egyptian texts refer to him as the author of medical treatises, including the legendary Edwin Smith Papyrus, an ancient surgical manual that demonstrates an empirical approach to medicine thousands of years ahead of its time. In this work, the body is understood through observation and reason rather than magic, detailing diagnoses, treatments and prognoses in ways that would influence Egyptian healing for centuries. Imhotep's fusion of spiritual and scientific thought laid the groundwork for the healing cults of later temples and anticipated the Greek medical tradition that would one day revere him as a god of medicine. Imhotep also served as high priest of Ra at Heliopolis, one of the most sacred religious centers in Egypt. There, he refined the cosmological understanding of the sun's divine power and the pharaoh's role as intermediary between heaven and earth. This dual role, scientist and priest, was not a contradiction in Egypt but a harmony. Knowledge of the stars, the body, and the sacred were all expressions of the same truth, Ma'at, or divine order. Imhotep embodied Ma'at in his pursuit of knowledge and service to the king, aligning the kingdom's earthly systems with the eternal rhythms of the cosmos. The design of the step pyramid at Saqqara wasn't simply a structural feat. It was an articulation of cosmic philosophy. It symbolized the pharaoh's ascent to the divine realm and transformed the desert necropolis into a stage for eternal kingship. Imhotep didn't just stack stone. He stacked meaning, designing courtyards, ritual spaces, and processional paths that reflected the solar journey, the mythic past, and the royal future. Every inch of the pyramid complex whispered the narrative of divine rulership and cosmic order. It was theology in limestone, built by a man who understood the gods not merely as myths, but as patterns of the universe. Centuries after his death, Imhotep's legend only grew. During the New Kingdom, scribes invoked his name in wisdom texts. In the late period, temples were erected in his honor, and sick pilgrims journeyed to his sanctuaries in search of healing dreams and divine intervention. Eventually, Imhotep was fully deified, worshipped as the god of medicine and wisdom. His cult endured well into the Greco-Roman era, where he was fused with Asclepius, the Greek god of healing. It is rare in any civilization for a mortal to become a god. For Imhotep, this elevation reflected the sheer breadth of his intellect and the lasting resonance of his contributions. Even today, Imhotep challenges modern assumptions about ancient history. He proves that early Egypt was not merely a land of mystery and magic, but of reason, science, and complex design. He shows that genius can emerge from any background, and that greatness lies not in bloodline but in vision. Imhotep's life was a blueprint for how knowledge, spirituality, and creativity can elevate a civilization, and how one mind, in harmony with the divine and the natural world, can shape the legacy of an empire. He was the architect of pyramids, the healer of kings, the priest of light, and the philosopher of order. Egypt remembered him not just for what he built, but for what he meant. He was the first genius in recorded history, and he still stands as one of the greatest minds the world has ever known.